Hi there, welcome back to Tyranny. It's Judgment Day and we are the law. Just spoken to Fatebinder Nunoval. Tunon is waiting for us in his private chambers, or rather in his throne room. We want, though, speak to the other Fatebinders before that to find out what Tunon may be up to, so that we are warned. I mean, we're trusting no one. He's our boss, so to say, and we are the law, but you cannot be cautious enough. Jacob the Lord Red, I see you've returned to the fold. Your exploits in Vendrian's Well are the matter of some discussion. The Fatebender of Balance regards you with a discerning eye, and for a moment you feel as if she is trying to peer into the very depths of your mind. Oh, Fatebender of Balance, what can I do for you? Calio touches a gentle hand to your shoulder. Oh, I'm not sure. Getting touchy, eh? Has anything happened while I was away? There have been whispers that Cairn grew disloyal to Graven Ash's command during the campaign in Azure. I took up the mantle of investigation near Plainsgate, and judging the rumors to be true, dispatched Cairn by proclaiming Kyros' Edict of Stone. The very earth turned against the traitorous Archon as the region split asunder in righteous judgment. Oh, what? And who's Cairn? As tall as the hills, Cairn is the Archon of Stone, master of earth and soil, destroyer of mountains and cities. Cairn is the reluctant leader of the Earthshaker Guild. We've met already. Though he is less their teacher and more their object of study, the massive Archon is sworn to Graven Ash and provides arcane support to the disfavored war effort. You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me? Don't act so surprised. It's my duty to ensure that those who operate under the Educator's name adhere to the spirit of his law, if not to the very letter. And those who don't, we're just asking, will be dealt with swiftly and efficiently at the point of Bled and Mark's blade. That was the Educator's knife. The Fatebinder slips a slim dagger from the folds of her purple garb, flipping the weapon almost idly in the air. Of course, that is assuming I don't dispatch them first. I take my duty seriously, and I'm very, very good at it. How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City? Tunon sends me on assignments here and there. I settle disputes between the locals when the Educator is otherwise occupied. Oh, there's a lot to do then. She smirks. Everything from trade disagreements to pushing chorus squatters out of basements. Real rewarding work. She waves it off. The glory of war is not an honor reserved for the likes of us. We're the fish swimming in Tunon's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We're rather large and imposing compared to the bottom feeders of the tiers, but fish all the same. I'd like to know more about Tunon, from your perspective. Tunon is our overlord's fair and exacting educator. He speaks with the voice of Kyros' law, and his word is judgment. All of this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Go on, or does he intimidate you still? She chuckles softly. I jest, of course. Yeah, of course you jest. I've got some concerns about the war. You're free to share them in my confidence. She leans in closer. So what should we plan with her? Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided we cannot win. No, I think we are too lenient. We cannot crush the opposition with such weak efforts. We are too lenient. Don't disagree with you, but bear in mind that these southern barbarians are being welcomed into the Empire. Kyros places no value in a mountain of tiersman corpses. At least none that I could fathom. Some more concerns? And what do you say about the division? Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided we cannot win. I'm less concerned about the armies than the Archons themselves. There can be no order when mountains collide. Who would you see as champion? Well, the disfavored. Our elite troops will bring us to victory. There's wisdom behind your reasoning. Wars are won through cunning, strategy, and strength. The disfavored are outmatched only in number on the battlefield. Considering their opposition, and Ash and his soldiers more than make up the difference. Alright, farewell. That was enough for us. Oh, let's talk to the last one. Who are you? I mean, this was, I think, war, balance, and now... Fatebinder Rogalus. Fatebinder, you return. Rogalus looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask, I'm feeling generous. Tell me about some of the past Archons. Moromus of the Mire, the Archon of Fungus, produced most of the flora in the swampland of Nettlebog. A stooped hermit who rather resembled a dapperling. He was never once reported to have left his swamp. Some believe he still lives within the land, though there's been no sighting of him in nearly 300 years. Where did you study? When you were younger, you seem an awful lot like Lantry, right? I have been a ward of the court for as long as I've been aware. As a child, I demonstrated wholly perfect recall, and I absorbed all that Tunon and my tutors had to offer. I remember hating all the lectures and wishing I could learn at my pace. Funny how I envied the sages of the Tiers, how they could spend their whole lives reading and never exhaust their library. Of course now the Vellum Citadel is nothing more than a burning waste. The Vellum Citadel, yeah, that's the burning library. The Vellum Citadel was a library fortress, the largest archive of the written word in the Tiers. A school of ink and quill protected and maintained the archive of ancient law for centuries. That is where our companion Lantry is coming from too. Standing apart from the political upheavals of the younger realms as an enduring pillar of knowledge and culture. What do you think about the other Fatebinders? You'll need to be more specific than that, I'm afraid. There is, on last count, slightly more than 100 of us. About this guy, the Fatebinder of War. Nonowald's keen, brash, and a hearty braggart with a fondness for bloodshed. He can be utterly unbearable at times. His justice is fair, even if he skews toward rather exacting and uncompromising punishments at times. And the Fatebinder of Balance? Callio is the finest among us. Her discernment is beyond reproach, and she's perhaps Tunon's favorite. She has a mind for suspicion and observation that makes others uneasy. We, who operate within the confines of the law, have nothing to fear, of course. And of me? You follow an orderly path, regimented and organized, perhaps too orderly for our station, but that is neither here nor there. If you execute your job with wisdom, be sure you don't stray to the path of chaos. Down that way lies rebellion. Yeah, I knew we were taking the right path. Let's talk about something else. Can you tell me about the old walls, where we had the vision, and the bane? Which should we start? Tell me just about the old walls. We know little enough about the ancient structures, save that they predate all historical record. The forbidding ruins crisscrossed the Tiers and north like centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kyros. And the Bane? The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of others lurking near. Let's discuss something else. I'd like to know more about the Tiers. The political entities of the Tiers are essentially split between the Bastard Tier, which is here, the Bastard City probably, the Younger Realms, and the Free Cities. Of which would you like to know? Or what are the Younger Realms? The realms of Assur, Apex, Stalwart, and Haven are collectively known as the Younger Realms, and together they represent the major political factions of the Tiers. For centuries, the Younger Realms have battled amongst themselves for control of the Tiers, with every realm having been at war with each other at some point in memorable history. What nice vessels. I would call the realms vessels at that point. To Kyros now. I mean, they have ruled the tiers, but now Kyros is mopping them up and making them vassals. Can you tell me about the Bastard tier? The Bastard tier is the most northern of the tiers and was the first to bow to Kyros' reign. Though the knee they bent fell unwillingly, Kyros had his eye on the Bastard tier for many years before he marched on her capital city. This is the hub of trade and commerce. Claim the markets and the people will follow. Ah, that's the Trump strategy, right? Yeah, tell me more about the Younger Realms now. The Younger Realms sprawl the middle and southernmost tiers and can be catalogued as follows. Apex, Azure, Haven, and Stalwart. Azure was renowned for its exceptionally fertile land, which fed the whole of the tiers. That was before Kyros' Edict of Stone blighted the land. So it's now desert. Stalwart is also worth mentioning, for it comprises the whole of the southernmost tier and provides the toughest and most defensible of the realms. It's often said that the other realms will not fall while Stalwart yet stands, so we'll have to crush it, right? The local army wages bitter war against the disfavored. Though the Edict of Storms has cut off the best of their defenses, it is only a matter of time, though, before Stalwart falls. And the free cities? They shouldn't be free anymore, right? There are 3 free cities remaining. Last Harbor, Spiralsmoor, and Barrys in Chains. The first and strongest of the free cities was the Setting Sun, which Kyros crushed in 429 with the Edict of Tumult. After that, the remaining free cities were quick to surrender. So they are not really free anymore. Tell me about the sages. I will not speak of the sages. They are no better than charlatans and cons, wholly selfish in their ill pursuit to hoard all knowledge from others. They are self-blinded by their own deceptions and clever manipulations. They alone caused their own undoing and are solely to blame for the burning library, one of the most grievous of wrongs in the known histories, for which they can never be forgiven. Previously known as the Willem Citadel, the archive and ancestral home, the Sages is now the site of a volcanic crater. Eruptions of lava began during the conquest of the Tiers. After Kyros' forces failed to claim the library in the Overlord's name, Kyros cast an edict of fire to break the siege and rid the world of the forbidden knowledge stored there. The Citadel has been a smouldering ruin ever since. Forbidden knowledge. Now it gets interesting, right? So will we also have to combat the forbidden knowledge? And now let's talk to our friends in the disfavored here. Sivius. Anything beats a prolonged siege, eh, Fatebinders? Enjoy the war while you can. And next up next, can you... Would you talk to us, Scarlet guys? Let's talk to Bitterquip. We've helped him at least, right? He ignores you with a stern and distant expression. I'd immolate you right where you stand if it weren't for Tunon breathing down our necks. Fatebinder. Bloodmark says, you're no stranger to Tunon's court, but I prefer to spend as little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. He glances up at Tunon. Fair warning, when you backed Ash, you were as good as signing your death warrant. But we shouldn't discuss such matters in a court of law. You'll make our time in the Tiers an interesting one, won't you? He smiles for an uncomfortably long time. Of course you will. Alright, these are our enemies now, and we cannot change that, so we'll act against them also in speaking with Tunon, probably.
Moving cautiously.
The ornament atop of the throne resembles Tunon's mask. Always seems to meet your gaze, regardless of where you are standing. Hey, Tunon.
This civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kyros' peace.
It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
Tunon regards you in thoughtful silence. I agree, Your Honor.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus. Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the tiers.
Aha, yeah. Could they both be guilty? Well, of course, they could. Or blameless, that would be the same thing. I will make this my mission,
As
Your Honor.
always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name. But you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. The disfavored seem the logical first step in your inquiry. The Legion holds you in some esteem, and Graven Ash has shown deference to the court in times past. No doubt the disfavored will be rife with accusations and evidence against the voices of Nerat. Graven Ash is a noble man, but never underestimate his capacity for deception. A wise general succeeds by knowing when to be unreadable to the enemy.
Oh yeah, I can see that playing games is a part of this game with the disfavored.
You should, of course, speak with the Scarlet Chorus and gather their testimony. But it stands to reason that most in the chorus would sooner brag about a pauldron fashioned from your skull than entertain your questions. Do not regret killing the rabble that impede your investigation. They will be easily replaced.
That's good to know. So we have a license to kill. We are the law, and we have a license to kill. Well, I will speak with the Archon of War.
Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. Though the disfavored were triumphant in the Blade Grave, I understand that their troubles within the region are unfinished. Talk to the disfavored commanders serving in the Blade Grave. Perhaps they can shine some light on the origins of this feud.
Let's see about the Blade Grave. What is that exactly? The Blade Grave is the name given to what remains of the realm of Stalwart after its reunion when Kyros proclaimed the Edict of Storms, which we cast upon the lands. The magical storms struck the disfavored and unbroken armies during the height of their engagement. Now, most of what remains is a blighted landscape of discarded armor and weapons, and high winds of rust and human dust. And Barrick, of course. Barrick was molten with his armor in that Edict of Storms.
The Oathbreakers were reported to be using iron armaments, more than they might acquire from looting what few disfavored they killed. Any iron in the tiers not rusted through was made by forge-bound hands in Lethian's Crossing. Between craftsman and quartermaster, someone let iron fall into enemy hands. Investigate this matter and bring the thieves to justice.
So the Forge-bound, what are they? They are mage smiths sworn to Kyros' service. Their operations in the tiers are overseen by Tunon and his court of Fatebinders. Each Forge-bound uses magic as a tool to augment their personal craft, most commonly smelting and metalworking. But carpenters, tailors and tanners are found in the ranks, and each mage strives to create that which is impossible with mundane hands. Most notably, the Forge-bound are the sole masters of iron working in the known world. Using spells of fire resistance to wade into the forge fires, the Forge-bound can work iron at temperatures no other forge can match, and with hands-on touch that no mundane smith could hope to achieve. Because of this vital skill, the Forgebound are considered a strategic war asset. Their lives regimented and controlled so that the forges may churn out iron arms and armor without debate, delay, or distraction. And Lithian's Crossing. Built in the shadow of an old world's junction in the realm of Haven, Lithian's Crossing is a growing trading settlement. The nearby rivers are rich in iron ore, so it's strategically important, though the locals lack the technology to smelt and forge the elements. Interesting, so we'll send the Forgebound there probably, or make a Forgebound station. In the years following Kyros' conquest of the Tiers, the population of Lithian's Crossing swelled with refugees fleeing the destruction of their homelands. The presence of the Forgebound mining the iron, along with their guards, makes this makeshift settlement a vital resource for Kyros' armies. Oh yeah. So, let's find out where the iron
There
comes
is a
from.
final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Though it's impossible to gauge from his expression, Tunon seems more worried than usual. So is Kyros out for us? What concerns the court, Your Honor?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kyros, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
Tunon, who hovers in observance, awaiting a response. I am in a privileged position to accomplish incredible deeds. No, I was only doing my job. It's my job as the law. Just another day in the life of a Fatebinder. That sounds like bragging. Let's be like the law. I mean, we can be pretty boasting, but not in front of our boss. I was only doing my job, Your Honor.
Your sense of obligation to your role is admirable, but modesty will not recommend you to the task ahead. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kyros' army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential. You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
Understood. I'll be known as a champion of justice.
Good. It falls to us to set a new standard for these southern barbarians.
Indeed, good Tunon. These barbarians need to learn to bend to the law, because it's for the good of all.
You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the Tiers in Kyros' name.
Tunon raps his gavel against the floor, the singular note resounding through the hall. Whoa, into the maelstrom. Should we go to meet Graven Ash? A trial of Archons, finding the evidence, and next. Oh yeah, we have completed the quest. We have spoken to Kyros. So, thank you for watching. Next time we'll level up and yeah, go for the next quest that we are that we have just gotten from Tunon, because of course we want to please Tunon as much as we want the law to triumph in this world. Thank you for watching. Happy gaming to you. This is Immanuel signing out. See you in the next episode.